In July 2012, Matt McPherson, a Toronto-based lawyer, and his good friend, whom he met in university, Brett Preston, the president of a Toronto-based consumer research company, launched a wine brand called The Little Grape That Could. The interesting twist to all this is that the profits from the wine sales, 100% of them go to charities, from the Heart and Stroke Association to the Toronto Cat Rescue. Brett and Matt are here with me both today to talk about this project. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So let's start out first with where this idea came from. One of you must have sort of had the seed of the idea. What happened to spark it?
Well, it's really sort of the genesis of the product, and the idea came from Brett, so I'll let him explain that.
Yeah, I guess I run a marketing research firm, and we're known for abstract thinking. And we have a lot of requests from charities to help them raise money. And it was in the midst of the financial recession, and we had a number of different charities coming to us. And instead of coming up with one original idea for each one of them, we thought that maybe if we could have one idea that they all could benefit from, that would be kind of really interesting from a conceptual perspective. As well, at the same time, my dad was sick, and so I wanted kind of an interesting project to include him in as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Your dad, as I understand it, had leukemia, is that right?
Yep, yeah.
Yeah, and so you were looking for a way to honor him as well?
Yes, exactly. And so it was great because in the initial phases of the project, he could be involved, and so he was pretty sick at the time, but it allowed us something positive to focus on and to kind of share together.
Okay, so let's talk about the particular wines that you chose. I know that you worked with a variety of wine experts and other volunteers to do this, but in the end, tell me what wines you went with, what grapes, what country, what price point, where did you land on that?
Well, the end grapes, after a sort of, as you said, a fairly long process of doing both consumer tasting to make sure that we were choosing a wine that was going to be accessible to people, because the end goal for us is to sell as much wine as possible so that we can help as many charities as possible. And we ended up selecting a wine from Argentina, two actually from the same region, the Mendoza Valley region. And one is a Torrontés, which is a native Argentinian white, and the other is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and they're priced at $11.60 right now.
And the reason for the pricing is that we actually went out to the charities and asked them kind of what their needs were, and for them to have the wine at events as well as their own individual tastings, they said that it had to be under $12, and so we aimed to have a wine that kind of came under that mark.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. And so what percentage of the price of the wine, it's $11.95, how much of that is going to charities?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. So we sell to the LCBO for about $4, and $1 of that goes to charity. And so for us, it's almost about 26% of our revenue goes to charity. So when you purchase a bottle, $1 of direct donation goes to the charity of your choice. However, normally, some people actually don't choose a charity after they buy the product to donate to, and so there's a big pool of unallocated dollars. And so if you're the one that goes and dedicates to a specific charity, you also take with you a number of people who didn't allocate that money. So right now, currently, if you buy a Little Grape That Could and donate to a specific charity, it adds up to about $7, essentially goes to the charity that you choose.
That's terrific. So you've got 26% of gross revenue, 100% of your profits of these wine sales going to charity. I have to ask, I know you had to keep the price point under $12. Is the reason why you didn't go with like a Niagara-made wine because of the cost base?
I mean, that was a factor. I mean, one of the important things for us is that we are a 100% volunteer organization, so we don't have any staff. You know, we don't pay anybody. In fact, almost all of the people that have contributed substantially to the product have been volunteers. So we had a really wonderful design firm, Davis Designs, who helped us do the designs for the wine labels. So the costs that we actually pay are really very direct costs in terms of the production, the labeling, that type of thing.
Wow.
And yes, from the standpoint of, I mean, it's kind of a balance of the issue with the charities wanting to have a wine that they could actually sell, and then also really just a volume issue in the sense that in order to get a wine that was at a high enough quality that we were satisfied with, for Ontario wines, that tended us to get us to a higher price point. And we started to be concerned about being able to move sort of volume and having it be accessible to a broader group of people at that higher level.
Sure. And how many bottles have you sold so far?
Actually, today I think the total is 22,000 bottles.
Wow, that's in about 8 months. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit less than that, actually. I think we're at just under, no, 7 months now.
Wow. And so is that the equivalent then of about $22,000 for charity?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we had our first distribution to the charities in mid-January. And so, yeah, we sent out the checks, and yeah, the charities were really pleased because for them it's a really easy revenue source, so it's really turnkey. And so they just have to go out to their supporters and ask them to buy the wine and donate the money back to them. And so, so yeah, so it's relatively easy for them. And so their ROI on the actual fundraising as a fundraising tool is actually very high. So.
That's great.
And it's also great, too, in terms of some of the particular charities where you can see how substantial the impact is, even if you're only talking about really $1 or, you know, $1 to $7 per bottle with, for instance, the Second Harvest, which is one of the local food banks in Toronto, and Brett went down and met with them and gave them the checks, and I mean, it was really heartwarming. Like, everyone came out, and they took pictures, because for each, even if, you know, it's only $1 for each bottle, that's still 2 meals for a needy person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we ended up with, for the first round of donations for them, it was around 7,000 meals.
Yeah, 7,000 meals for
Wow.
for Second Harvest in 6 months, so it's pretty fabulous. So
That's a real impact. Yeah. Awesome. And as far as you know, are you the only nonprofit wine label in Canada?
yeah, as far as we know, and not only nonprofit, I think we're not only in wine, I think it actually just in food in general, as well as having yeah, like a full staff of volunteers that actually runs the organization. I think that's definitely unique, at least from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some wines that donate a percentage of the profits to charity, and there are also, I think, a couple of ones that we've seen where an existing winery will do a small production run of a particular wine, and they will donate most of the profits of that to charity. But we're still, as far as we know, the only one where 100% of the profits go to charity, and that is an ongoing thing sort of permanently.
Wow. And how many different charities do you support at this point?
So now we actually accepted some new charities at the end of, I guess, January. And so we started out with the majority of charities were in Toronto, and now we've kind of really expanded beyond Toronto. And so we have new charities actually in small towns all over Ontario now. And so I think we have 36 charities now on board that are supporting the program. So.
That's terrific. And just as we wrap up this part of our conversation, tell me how it works. So I buy a bottle of either the white or the red, great packaging, by the way, and then what do I do to pick my charity?
So if you turn the bottle around on the back label, they're just at the bottom there.
Right.
There is a little individual unique code.
Okay, yeah,
so
there is.
You go to our website, which is www.thelittlegrathethatcould.com, and you go to charity selection, and you go to that page, and you can enter the code there, and on that page there's a drop-down list of all of the charities that we support. And so you can just pull down, select the charity you're interested in, hit select, and then that donation will go to that charity.
Awesome. And then I see on the back of mine, I've got make a toast to Rick Fitzgerald if I'm drinking the white, and over here we've got make a toast to Dorothy Donnelly. Who are those people?
Well, that's another great part of the program, which is an idea that Brett came up with, which we really think is fantastic as another way to celebrate the wine. So I'll let him.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, so for me, part of the project was to celebrate my dad and to honor my dad. And during that time, we thought, like there's not very many vehicles to celebrate people, and so we thought that wine would be a fantastic vehicle for doing that. And so what we allowed people to do is that to post a toast on our website, and and if to celebrate someone. And so then every cycle, when we go to print new bottles or to produce new bottles, we select 50 to 100 of those toasts, and we print the name of those people on the back of our bottles. So every bottle celebrates a real person, and you can go to our website and you can find the toast there. And there's some absolutely heartwarming, touching stories. It's really incredible, and it's unbelievable, just the outpouring of responses and toasts. So it's really beautiful.
That is great. When we come back, I'm going to ask you for some of those stories because I'd love to hear some of the more interesting ones. So Matt and Brett, thank you for joining me for this part of our conversation. We'll be back with you soon.
Okay, thank you.